Welcome to my channel and thank you so much for joining me for this drawing demonstration. I drew Hailey Baldwin Bieber for this drawing demonstration, and the photo was taken by Danny Lower, who so kindly gave me permission to use his photo as a reference. So thank you for that, Danny. And for you guys, enjoy. Let's start with the video.
Normally I would start my drawing in the upper left corner and then work my way through to the lower right corner, but I wasn't sure if I'm going to do the whole portrait drawing or just leave it with the face, because initially I thought I just gonna do a demonstration how I draw skin, but I decided in the end that I would do the whole thing because I was enjoying it way too much. I always do a base layer with the lightest pencil I have first, which in this case is a 4H pencil. I'm doing so since in a black and white picture even the brightest highlights are not even close to white, so I try to get rid of all the whites in the drawing first. In the last couple of years I kept myself busy with learning how to paint with oils, meaning it is at least a year since the last time I took my graphite pencils and actually did a drawing. And I have to admit that it took me a while to get back in the workflow. This is actually my second attempt to draw this picture. Now with her right eye I had to improvise a lot and do so much guesswork, because in the reference picture there's actually a strand of hair hanging over her right eye and I couldn't do it. I tried so hard but it wouldn't work, so I had to come up with something else, and I thought, okay, I just go ahead and use my imagination and try to figure it out somehow. When I draw skin, I will do the first layers very roughly, and I won't even worry about any visible pencil strokes because I will blend this with my paper tissue in the end. And also what I think is very important is that if you look at a photograph and you look very closely and you have a high resolution photograph as a reference picture, you will notice that there is no skin that is smooth all the way through. There's always some darker areas and lighter areas, and I'm not speaking of shadows and highlights. Actually, you can have a very light forehead like we have here now, but there's still some sort of, let's say, irregularities that if you really pay attention to it and try to mimic that, you can push your drawing much closer towards realism. While I was drawing the lips, I noticed that I was way too tired to actually do so much detail work, because I've been working on this at this stage I think about 9 to 10 hours, and I was just tired, and I went ahead and just did some surrounding areas, some first layers, and then start all fresh and new the next day. Drawing ears is actually my second favorite part of doing a portrait drawing. My first love will always be noses. I can tell you why, but they're so much fun to draw. I'm gradually trying to tone down her skin tone, especially on this side because it lays in the shadow. By starting with the lightest pencil, and working my way through to my darkest pencil, which in my case is starting with a 4H, then an HB, then a 4B, 6B, and the last one will be an 8B. I could also use an HB pencil for the first layer and not use the 4H at all, but somehow it gives me some sort of a safe feeling when I start with a lighter color. They are much easier to erase, and if you start with a darker value, it's much easier to mess up the drawing. I should have darkened down the cheek area right here. It seems so much brighter actually as a reference photo, and I think the contrast really would have helped me with the realism. But well, nobody's perfect, right? As I said in the beginning, I'm planning to do way more videos in the future. Actually, my plan is to upload a video every Friday. I want to do videos with graphite pencil work and colored pencil work, but also with some oil painting, which I'm not really good in, but I will take you along anyway. So if you have any suggestions or questions I can tackle in the next video, please leave them in a comment, it would be much appreciated. The beginning stages of any drawing or painting mostly look a bit off, but I think it's getting better now. Although looking back at the footage, I think I could have pushed this drawing much further than I have done, but in the end I think I'm doing an okay job here, considering if I want to put out a video every Friday, I have to be fast with my drawings or paintings so I can edit them and then upload them. Now here I started to fill in the background with graphite powder to darken the value, which I have been using for years, and did I regret that? I mean, I didn't regret that I used the graphite powder, but I put some fixative in between layers, and this somehow got on her face because I didn't cover it up quite so well. And it took me so long to fix her right cheek actually, because it got all smudgy and looked weird, and later on in the process I will also have some trouble to get in the highlights back into her hair. I'm so sorry that my hair is constantly in the shot, but I'm used to work in an upright position, but this was just impossible to film, so I had to lay down the paper and put my camera above so I can film the process. But unfortunately that also means that the graphite is very shiny in my perspective, and I just had to get closer, I'm sorry. If I would do this drawing again, I would definitely go in with my colored pencil to do this sweatshirt or t-shirt or any other dark clothing, because yet again the shine from the graphite will be very annoying. Also, her shoulders are not in the right position, at least one of them, which unfortunately I only noticed when I was done with the drawing. Now onto the hair. This side is actually supposed to be a very bright shade, but since I used that fixative spray in between the layers of the background so carelessly, I couldn't get the highlights back out. So well, here I started to even out the background because the messiness just was throwing me off, and then I went back to the hair and decided to make it actually a darker shade. since I couldn't get back the highlights. The other side was slightly easier. Slightly. I am struggling here. It's right here and then when I decided that if I ever was to use that stuff again, I will make sure that all the unfinished areas will be covered up somehow. Don't mind the weird border or frame surrounding her. I'm gonna cut this off in the end. An important thing to me is when it comes to drawing hair, or let's rather say the hairline, I like to create some sort of transition between skin and hair. Because unless somebody is wearing a wig or has some very, very thick hair, there's always skin shining through the first inch or let's say centimeter behind the hairline. Now here's my finished drawing of Hailey Baldwin. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Bye!